I think I should run this way.
Hello. Hello, everybody. If there's anyone out there, if you hung with us for the few minutes we were late, I was having some audio issues, and so thank you, Deborah, for hanging in there. She was on time. I was last minute Lizzie, as I usually am, and then the audio on the computer just decided to not work. So I'm on my phone right now, which is not my preferred method, but we'll make it work. So,
Yep,
hello,
will.
good morning. How are you, Deborah?
Hi, doing well. Thanks, Lizzie.
It's good to see you. We've been chatting a little bit through email, but we met in this format last year after her first book had come out, and so now she has a second book. And I was thinking it wasn't out tomorrow, but then I just reread the email, and it actually came out on the 15th.
Yeah,
Book
it
season.
came. Yeah, it came out on the 15th. I called that the soft launch because I really didn't want to advertise it on Easter weekend. So I just mainly letting people know this week. I guess I'm considering it launch week for the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
All right.
officially
Awesome.
launched.
I am now, because I'm on my phone, I don't know how to see the comments. So I'm going to have to pull up, I think I'm going to have to pull up maybe a third window where I can see the comments. Let me just try to figure this out. If I open it on the computer, then you'll either see me twice or you'll see a blank, but I don't know any other way to do it.
Yeah, or I could let you know too.
I've never had this issue. Yeah, if you can totally see. Do you see anyone in the comments right
just
now?
have a comment from StreamYard that I can't seem to get rid of. It's over the front of my screen. I don't know if you see that, but it's
live viewer comments show up in StreamYard.
Yeah.
This is an example. Okay, that's because of me. Okay, well, rats. I don't know how to get rid of that either. Maybe there we go. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So maybe now I see there'll be comments underneath. So maybe just no one is here yet. Either they didn't make it or they, it says there's 3 people watching. So you 3 who are out there, let us know who you are. And thanks for being here. So I think now I will see the comments.
Okay.
So it's just a whole new screen and way of seeing things.
You're doing great.
Oh. Yes, I had intended to have your book out here, but we'll go with that. Unless do you have physical copies of both of them?
Yeah, well, yes. Well, what happened was yesterday I ordered one copy of my second book, and the Amazon truck came and dropped it off, and I never opened it because I wanted to do a live opening of the book. So I can do it here if you want me to.
Well, if you want to, but if you have something else planned for it, that's fine. But well, before we get to the new one, though, let's just catch everybody up on your first book, which is The Forbidden Gift. Hello, Cav Rees. Hi, nice to have you. Says she loves Amish fiction, and Debra Torres is an author for you. Great. So, have you read the first book, Forbidden Gift? If not, I want to just say here, and I'm probably going to say this now, Deborah may disagree with me, but I think based on the second book, which now is about a 300-page book, and I have about 80 pages left, so I have not finished it. But I would recommend to anyone out there that you read the first book first, because you could read the second book and enjoy it very much, but it will completely spoil the first book. So you're going to want to read them both. So I would say definitely start with the first book, The Forbidden Gift, and then move on to your new book, which is The Forbidden Truth, right? And that title is perfect, I think, based on the storyline, which we don't want to spoil, but let's just say the premise of the first one, there is some truth to be uncovered from someone who we meet in the first book, but we don't want to spoil who or what that is. Maybe you have a better way of disclosing it without giving names, but anyway, I would just say to anyone out there, read the first book first. So let's talk about it first, and then we'll go into the second book a little bit, for anyone who has read the first one and wants a little setup for the second one. So do you want to tell us about book one, and then I will just gush about it after you tell us the premise and everything?
Sure. So book one is Forbidden Gift, and it is about a young Amish writer who is forbidden from writing in her Amish community by an overbearing bishop. And she actually secretly writes for a local newspaper as a columnist for 2 years before she is caught. When she's caught, she's put under the ban or has the ban threatened unless she marries the bishop's son or grandson.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on there, a lot of family dynamic. There is a love connection with one of the reporters at the newspaper. And there is some relationship things that are going on with her mother and actually with the reporter and his mother. So a lot of things going on there, a lot of healing that needs to take place. And so this story is mainly about Johanna Yoder, who is my main character. She's located in the Willow Brook community, which I set in northwestern Pennsylvania. I based it on an area of New Wilmington, northwestern Pennsylvania. For about 11 years, we lived in Clarion, Pennsylvania, which is probably about an hour and a half from New Wilmington. So I needed an area, and I figured since I knew that area, I knew the weather, I just knew, the snow. I figured that I could write that area. So that's what this book is about.
When you say there's a love connection there, I wouldn't classify this as a romance by any means. I think it's very unique in that it's kind of hard to put it in any kind of category. It's just Amish fiction, like you have said. The romantic connection really isn't, I mean, it doesn't really come to fruition. The kind of angstiness of it is there a little bit, but I mean, I would almost say your third book is going to have to be the Forbidden Romance, because
well, you know what, it's called The Forbidden Love is the third book.
Okay, great. Yeah, because that is definitely true. There is that that dynamic between a young Amish woman and a young Englisher male who are just the best people. They're not setting out to try to do anything that is out of line at all, but they feel this connection to each other. And how are they going to overcome those obstacles? One or both are going to have to make some compromises. They're going to have to make some kind of tough decisions or changes. And it's a very slow process. It doesn't happen, in the first book. There's so many other things that happen. And I loved it. So one thing I want to say, and I don't know if you know this about the book, but it is okay, let me just preface this. I was several months ago, there was kind of a little tag going around BookTube about the highest rated books on your read list. So basically you would look at all the books you've read on Goodreads and what are the highest rated books, collectively that you've read. For me, would you believe it's The Forbidden Gift?
No.
Yes. What? It is the highest rated book that I have read, that it has the highest average rating. Now, some people throw out the books that have less than, 100,000 or whatever. So, it doesn't have that many, but I still think that for the amount of people who have reviewed it, the fact that almost everyone has rated it 5 stars says a lot. These are not all people that you have handed a free book to and said, would you read this? There's definitely more than that. So I think that's saying a lot. And I gushed about it from the beginning. After I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is fantastic. So I have to say,
I remember you were nervous. You were like, oh no, I have to do a review. What if I don't like it?
I know. Well, because we talked about possibly doing an interview and I didn't want to commit to it because I thought, what if it's terrible? It was, I needn't have worried. It's fantastic. So I definitely can highly recommend it to everybody out there. And I think the really neat thing about it is that it's hard to categorize. It's very unique. There is, it's not a cozy mystery. It's not a gritty crime fiction. It's not a romance, but it has all of those elements in some way or another that are there. And it's about Amish characters and Englisher characters. So it's just a fantastic mix of everything. So I think there's something for everyone in it. Now, going forward, so I've started book 2 and I'm about 2/3 done with it. And I have to say that and you'll know where I'm talking about. There was a little conversation that, to coin an Amish phrase, it has me frahoodled.
Frahoodled. Yes. My editor later on said, I love this word. She put it in the comments. She's like, I used it 3 or 4 times in the book. Yeah.
So I have not read much farther past the scene where Kelly, who is the publisher of the newspaper, just for those of you watching, had a conversation with a man who publishes a competing newspaper, and what she said to him, and then it goes to another chapter, and I was like, what?
You know what? She said that all on her own. I was like writing. It was early in the morning, and I was writing. I was like, that came to my mind, and I was like, I cannot. Kelly is not going to say that. And I was like, she says it, and I just kept writing, and I was like, I can't believe she said that, because Kelly is the me character, so I relate most to Kelly, and I was like, oh, Kelly, you said that, but you got to keep reading.
Yeah. But in my mind, I'm going in different directions. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to predict where it's going to go. Meanwhile, then, Johanna is lost in New York and all this thing. And I'm like, I'm trying to get through that part. So, it's interesting. But yeah, I'm like, where is this going to go? But that's great. Because, I'm at the point now where, there's no way I could stop reading if I wanted to. So it's awesome. So we do have some people in the chat. Let's say hello to everyone. We have a few questions too, so be thinking about your answers to these. Let me read through the questions first. So we read Kev's first comment, and I'm so glad you're here. I see you have a question a little farther down, which we'll get to. Cheryl Gilmore is one of my friends. She says, hello, Elizabeth and Deborah. Looking forward to this interview. Yes, great. Cheryl is a writer herself and has just recently had a story published in one of the Chicken Soup books.
Oh.
So, yeah, so it's awesome. And then, so Kev asked, Deborah, what made you choose to write an Amish series? Do you want to go ahead and answer that right now?
Sure. So, Kev, I always loved Amish fiction. Well, not forever, but whenever I really started, wanting to read again, when my kids was taking them to the library, I remember looking at those shelves with those Amish books, and I was like, those look so interesting to me. And so I picked Beverly Lewis, probably the one that most people start with, if they started long ago, was Beverly Lewis, The Shunning. And I read through her series on that. And then the next one, The Abrams Daughters, which I saw, Lizzie, is on your list, your TBR list to read. Yeah, I read through that. And then I just kept going. I had a friend at church who had a bunch of Amish books, so she let me read them. I just am captivated by the Amish subculture. That's just what it was. I mean, we lived in northwestern Pennsylvania for a while, so they would be, on the buggy part of the road where the buggies are allowed, the buggy lanes. They'd be in the grocery stores, and I didn't have an Amish friend, so I was like, I just want to learn about them. And so this is the way I did it. I read books. I came to the point where whenever I was pitching this book to an agent, I said, I am my audience. I have read so many books. I love Amish books. I'm my audience. So I know what I like and what I figure that a lot of women my age like. And so I was able to put that in my book as well.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like that's got to be a necessity so that an author knows what a reader wants to read. Because I heard not too long ago a cozy mystery author say, I don't read cozy mysteries. I'm like, well, then how do you know what people want to read? I don't get that. Now, she does a great job, but still, and I know sometimes people say, well, I don't read while I'm writing because they don't want to be influenced by, and accidentally cause some kind of plagiaristic kind of thing happen or whatever. And I get that. But I think you still need to know your audience. And if you are part of the audience, then I think that's a big thing. So, so Cheryl says, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's one of the reasons why I started the Amish book reviews channel on YouTube. I have a channel of Amish book reviews because I had heard that advice. If you're going to write that genre, you need to read the genre. And I thought, well, if I'm reading the genre, I may as well review the genre. So that's why I started it.
So you said you started with the Shunning. Did you read the Postcard and the Crossroad? Because that was one of her earlier ones too.
Yeah, I read the Postcard and Crossroad, two different books, or two books in one, like two novellas in one?
Oh, okay. It's two books.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I know I read the Postcard. Yeah, a Postcard, October Song, and then all of her little standalones there at that time.
Yeah, okay, and I haven't read October Song. It looks like it has storylines from several characters, and so I need to read the Sarah Kane book first. And I was trying to find, because I was looking on Goodreads and I saw there were like 4 different storylines, and I could only place 3 of them. So I'm not sure where that 4th set of characters comes from. So I want to make sure I've read all of those before I pick that up. So anyway, so Cheryl says, oh, I'm going to have to check out this book. Yes, Cheryl, you are. It's really good. And it's a quick read too. So here's Donna from Studio in the Library. She says, good morning, Elizabeth and Deborah. A nice launch to Amish in April. Love the unique theme of Deborah's books. Yes. And so, by the way, I didn't say this is the first day of the Amish in April Readathon. It's hosted by myself and Sarah, the bookish knitter. Now, Sarah and I both read different kinds of Amish books. She, when I asked her to co-host this with me the very first year, which was I think this is our 5th year, I had seen her do a lot of book hauls, and she was always showing like the love-inspired Amish books. And so I thought that she read them. And so then I heard her say, I've been buying all these Amish books and I haven't read a single one. And I was like, well, let's do this readathon and then you can read some. So she has leaned more towards category romance, like the love inspired. And also she's been reading the Linda Castillo books. Have you read any of those, Deborah? They're very gritty.
I haven't. No. And they're Amish as well, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
It's about
I did. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it's about a police detective who grew up Amish but never joined the church. She left the Amish faith but still lives in the vicinity. But she's a police detective, and she, because of her Amish ties, she's able to still interact with them to an extent to help solve these crimes that are in the area. But very gritty. You know, there's definitely some swear words, a lot of blood and gore and things like that. So I'm going to try one more and see. Sarah she's been reading one every year since we started this, and she's like, I don't know, Elizabeth, I don't know if you're going to like it. And I know, because I've read the first one, that it's going to be out of my comfort zone, but we'll give it another shot and see how it goes. But I much prefer the Beverly Lewis, Wanda Brunstetter, nice, calm, just feel good stories. I enjoy the cozy mysteries like Amanda Flower and books like that as well. So Cheryl says, I love your shirt, Elizabeth. Thank you. This is I don't have like anything to fit the Amish theme. So the closest thing was my quilt and tea shirt.
Quilt and tea.
Yeah, this was a quilt festival they used to do here in my town where I live, and they haven't done it in a few years, but they've been talking about bringing it back. It was partially sponsored by the Historical Society, and the Historical Society has got a lot going on right now, a lot of other projects, but they're talking about maybe getting back to it at some point. They're opening a museum right now, and so that's a big project. Yeah. Oh, sorry. My other phone was, I didn't have it turned down. All right, let's see. So Cav says, I'm for Hoodle that I haven't heard of this book before. Well, so Cav, I had not heard of you. I haven't seen you in my comments or anything. And so I thought maybe you were from Deborah's Facebook group. So I'm so glad that you found us. Have you, did you just find us because of Amish in April? You said you were a fan of Amish fiction. So tell us in the comments what you like to read. What Amish books are your favorites and who your favorite authors are or whatever. So, okay. So Cheryl says it wasn't a chicken soup book, but thanks. I thought it was, Cheryl. Well, so maybe I'm getting it mixed up. There's a lady from my town who just got one published in a chicken soup book, and so I thought that Cheryl was the same. She did get a short story published, though, in something. So maybe Cheryl tell us where it's published. All right, so Cheryl asked Deborah a question. Do you feel like you were called by God to write Amish fiction, or do you think that is necessary to write Amish Christian books? So what is your thought on that? No, it's a secret that I'm a Christian, and I'm pretty sure you are too. So yes. we'll get that out of the way, that we're speaking from a Christian perspective. So go ahead and answer whatever you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess feeling called by God to write Amish fiction would go with just what I feel like a tug has been on my heart for quite a while. And also, as I tell people, it's amazing how when you do step forward in the dreams or goals that God has given you, he opens the doors, when you step. So, obviously the doors have been opening for me. So I feel like that is God giving me a thumbs up and saying, yes, continue to move forward. But I do call it my writing ministry. I have a group, a Facebook group, and which I waited to start it till January. I don't know why I waited, because this has been the best group. I have since January, it's over 700 people have joined, and I love talking to them every day, and we have a good time. But every morning we give a scripture, and I put it on Facebook, and it's going through their feed. So they're hearing the word, and hopefully hearing it from me, and definitely hearing it in my books as well.
Great. I am hardly ever on Facebook, but you'll have to send me a link so that I can try to join up and at least pop my head in every once in a while.
Yeah, and I like to, and that way I can tag you in it too, and you can comment, because I've been talking about you the last couple of days anyway.
Oh, great. And if you would like to for me to share the link in the description of this video, once it's published, then I certainly can. So Cav says, wait, there's an Amish review channel. I further for Hoodle. Yes, that is the name of Debra's YouTube channel, is Amish Book Reviews. So on her channel, she has reviewed several books prior to publishing her own. And then as she was getting ready to publish her first book, she shared with us some really interesting videos about the process of the photo shoots for, there was finding the costumes and then doing the photo shoots. She also has done some tours of Amish country and things like that. So she's a very interesting channel with some really great videos. So definitely check that out. And it is linked. I don't know if it's linked in this video yet, but it's linked in something, and I'll definitely link it when we're done here. So I think I linked it in my TBR video. And also, I got to visit some Amish areas that I didn't even know were there. I just recently went to Texas Panhandle and then came back through northeastern Oklahoma. Well, I came through Oklahoma and landed in northeast Oklahoma, where my sister lives, and stayed a few nights with her and her husband. And this was just like a couple weeks ago. And they were telling me that there's an Amish community there in Shodo, Oklahoma, which is a town very close to where they live. And here's the interesting thing, because they kept talking about their tractors. So I drove through there and went to a couple of Amish businesses on my way out, and I didn't see a single horse and buggy. And so I called my sister back and I said, I didn't see any horse and buggies, but I saw this one Amish girl, making tracks in a tractor going down the street. And she's like, yeah, they only get their horse and buggies out on Sundays now, and they go everywhere on tractors. And I said, well, how is that different than a car? It seems a little legalistic, but a lot of it kind of is. But there are tractors parked everywhere, and that's how they get around for their day-to-day.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, I was in Shipshewana, Indiana this past summer, and a lot of them were getting around with these bicycles that had motors on them, like a little battery power. I'm not sure, but there was some kind of motorized bicycle. Same kind of thing. It's like, well, it's got a motor.
So they're figuring out ways to get around faster and still stay under the
Ordnung,
The Ordnung, so. All right, so Cav says the Shunning is available now on Audible Plus. I'm going to be listening to it this week. Awesome. Now, those 3 books of Beverly Lewis, that trilogy, I think there is an abridged version and a full-length version. So I always say, the abridged are fine, but to get the real story, try to find the one that's at least like 7 or 8 hours or more, each of those. So if you have a choice, go for the longer version. I think, Cav, if you have access to Hoopla, they're on there as well. So give that a try. It may only be the abridged versions that are on Hoopla, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. So Cheryl says she had a short story published in an indie anthology. I haven't been putting the comments up because I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to mess something up since I'm on my phone. So I'm just reading them. But I think anyone who's watching can see the comments off to the side. So, and can you see them where you are, Deborah? Can you see the comments?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yep. All right. So Cheryl says, I'm having problems deciding which genre tugs at my heart for me to write. So I was just wondering, like your answer. Thank you. All right. Well, great. So Cav says, I've been hanging out on Cozy Mystery Sprints and heard about the Amish in April there. All right, great. That was probably the Killing Time with Cozy's group, maybe, because they have, I think they have a channel there on that Discord about Amish in April. So that's awesome. Thank you for joining us. And Cheryl says, what is a typical writing day for you, Deborah?
Yeah. So it's kind of crammed in there. I watched I listened to a podcast, and someone said recently that this guy works full time, and he said he kind of likes it because then he can write in the nooks and crannies of his day. And I'm like, that's me. I'm the nook and cranny writer. Because I work full time as well. So lately I've been getting up earlier in the morning and doing some writing sprints, trying to get that done. I'm working on a Christmas book right now with another Amish writer. Nice. So it's going to be coming out in December. So I've been working on her book. And then I work all day, and then I work on marketing after work most days. So just doing a lot of things on Facebook, learning things, sending out newsletters to my newsletter subscription list and that kind of thing. But I really need to find more nooks and crannies because I need to write more. I keep having ideas. I have a series after I'm done with Forbidden Love. I have a series in mind that I'm super excited about. It's called the Amish Kitchen Garden series. I have characters already that are working on. And so, so I'm ready for that one as well. So.
And we should mention you have an e-cookbook. If you subscribe to your newsletter, then you get that cookbook free. So if you haven't done that, be sure and do that. And we'll make sure that you get the link to her YouTube channel as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first Cheryl says, I love a Christmas Amish book. So yes, we need you to tell us more about that and when it's coming out for sure. Kev says, I've read 375 Amish books since I started keeping track. On my TBR right now, Kelly Irvin, Rosalind Lauer, Marta Perry, and Laurel Blount. Wow, 375 Amish books. That is amazing. Wow.
So you need to be in my group. Come in my group, Cav. Love to have you there.
Next week, I'm going to be doing just my regular chat called Terrific Tuesday with Friends Over Coffee. So if you would like to be on here, I would love to chat with you about the 375 Amish books that you have read. If you want to come here on my channel and do what Deborah is doing this week. So, wow, that is amazing. So, okay, so let's talk some more about, first of all, let me just say that if you have not read the first book, I want you to go right now and order it. And you may as well go ahead and order both. So is there any kind of a bundle deal where they can get both books in a bundle? Just like
not right now because I'm Amazon right now.
Okay.
If I I'm going to be going to Berlin, Ohio. There's a Keeping Up with the Amish event going on. There's a Facebook group called Keeping Up with the Amish, and they have an Amish author and reader event in Berlin. So I may do some bundles there at my table, kind of thing.
Okay.
But right now, because I'm through other bigger organizations, I can't.
Sure. Well, no, and that's fine. I just thought I would ask. So definitely, if you have not, if you don't have the first book, start with that. Order it, and I will put a link after we're done. I'll put a link to the Amazon link. So it's available on ebook and in paperback, right? And both of them are available now. And do you want to go ahead and tell us how much they cost right now, or anything like that? I mean, I really want people to buy Forbidden Gift. It is amazing. It is so good. I loved it. I can't not tell how much I loved it. So Forbidden Gift on Amazon is $14.99 to buy the paperback version. Forbidden Truth is $15.99. Sorry, but paper has gone up. My publisher tells me, so that's why. And so I guess that's the deal. You get this one for $1 less. And then I think the ebooks are $5.99 each. Okay, great. Yeah, very affordable. So if you read ebooks at all, then that might be the way you want to go. I personally like to have physical books in my hand.
Yeah.
So when we get off here today, I was going to do it beforehand, but I didn't get it done. Now that because I thought it wasn't coming out till tomorrow, and so I was going to wait and order it tomorrow, but now I'm ordering it today, the second one, because I want to have it physical in my hand. I just have because you sent me a PDF to read on my phone, but when I have my contacts in, I'm just getting old. I can't see. I have to have reading glasses, and even then, I'm like, to just get it on my phone is a pain.
Yeah, I know.
So I have to take my contacts out, and I just read it just with my eyes. So once I put my contacts in, then I'm done with reading on my phone for the day. So that's why I haven't been able to finish it yet. But today I didn't put my contacts in until a few minutes before we were coming on. I wanted to get as much read as I could. And I'm really enjoying book 2. So, but I can't stress this enough to all of you out there watching. Don't read book 2 first. It will completely ruin book 1. And I want you to read both. So, definitely start with the first one, but read them both. So I'm excited. The name of the series is Willow Brook. Is that correct?
Willow Brook, Secrets of the Pen. Because Joanna is a writer, so that's why I put that in there, because the writing is consistent throughout the books. That's her gift, and how she uses it is different in book 2 from book 1, but it's still a theme.
Yeah. So for those of you who have joined us since we started talking about the premise, the first book is about a young woman named Johanna Yoder. Oh, and that reminds me of something I thought was hilarious in the second book, what I got to address. But so she is a writer, but in the first book, she has been forbidden by the bishop to write. It's against the ordnung that their bishop has set up. So what you learn if you read much Amish fiction is that each different group can have some of their own rules. Some can be more strict than others. And the bishop basically is the law. So whatever the bishop says is what has to go for that group. And their bishops are chosen by lot. And remind me how that's done. Like, do they put piece of paper in a book, and whoever draws the book with that paper, is that how it's done in all?
It's a script. From what I understand, yes. There's a scripture that's put in one of the hymn books. It's their Osbon. And so all of the candidates for bishop will come forward, and they're handed a hymn book. And then whoever chooses the hymn book that has the scripture in it is the one that is chosen, which actually is interesting, because I think it's in the book of Matthew in the Bible, when the disciple who replaced Jesus was the disciple who replaced Judas was chosen. He was chosen by Lot.
Okay.
So same. So I think that's probably where they got it from. But anyway, there's a little bit of a connection with that in Forbidden Love or Forbidden Truth that you'll read later. But yes, that's how they're chosen. And in Forbidden Gift, the bishop does something secret, sneaky, in order to be the one to get the hymnal that has the scripture verse in it. I should say that. But that's not really a secret.
Right. So we find out that the bishop is maybe not all he should be, and therein comes the uniqueness of the story, because in Forbidden Gift, in most Amish fiction, that the bishop has the last word, and then when we find out in Forbidden Gift that their bishop is maybe not who he's supposed to be, then you get some gray area. And so it's really interesting how it all plays out. So it's very unique in that, it's not heavy on romance or anything. There is some crime, there's some mystery, there's some secrets to be uncovered. I really like what you did with the bishop's wife's character in the second book. I really like her. I like her attitude, and I like how you've developed the relationship between Johanna and her mother, and Judah and his mother. There was a whole in book 1. There was a lot of work to be done between the main characters and their mothers, and so that has grown and developed and has just worked out very nicely in book 2. So I enjoyed seeing that growth in their characters. yeah, it's just great. And there's little bits of the gospel thrown in, not thrown in, not like it's haphazard, but I like it. It's there. It's not, it doesn't slap you in the face, but it's there, and it's truth, and I think it's well placed. So I just enjoyed it a lot. The only thing that has me for hoodled is that comment that Judah's mother said on the phone, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You guys have to read. You'll know. Okay, you'll read book 1. When you get to book 2, when you get to the comment I'm talking about, it's on around page 195. You'll know when you get there, and you'll be like, "This is what Elizabeth was talking about."
Yeah, I tell you, she said that all on her own. It wasn't on me at all.
And so I have heard authors. I have heard authors say that their characters do these things and they have no control over what the characters do, which seems funny, but I kind of get it. A little bit.
Well, there was one scene, you'll remember it, Lizzie in the Forbidden, I'm getting them all mixed up, in Forbidden Truth, when they're driving in the car, one of the scenes, Judah and Johanna, they were going to fight. There was going to be a fight going on, and that was what I was going to write. And as I'm writing it, Judah is behaving really, really well. And he's learning from what he learned, all the stuff that he learned from Gideon in this book. Yeah. He's being transformed, and he's responding really well to her. He makes good decisions. And then at the end of the scene, I'm like, Judah, you handled that really well. I didn't think you were going to do that. That's so crazy when you write. These seem like real people. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I feel like Judah's friend Bertram, his coworker, has a bigger role this time. I didn't really remember him from the first book. Vaguely, I do. But he's definitely playing a bigger role in this book, and I like him. I like his character. I hope maybe you'll find a girlfriend for him somewhere, maybe.
Because I've been thinking about that.
He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
All right, so let me read a few more comments. So Donna from Sue in the Library says, "You really know what you like. A wonderful feeling." Yes, and Cav, we have a friend. Well, if you've been in the Killing Time with Cozy's group, Ro, who is her handle is Cozy Reads Mystery. She has read only cozy mysteries for the last several years, and I think she's read over 600. And it's just like mind-boggling to have that kind of dedication to one genre. Is just great. So Cheryl wants to know, Deborah, if you are self-published or traditional. And
so I'm sort of a hybrid. I am traditionally published, but it's with a small publishing house that my publisher even said that sometimes they're considered hybrid. Like there's different awards that I could go to if I wanted to go for an indie award because of the way this is a hybrid. But it's Outblake Publishing, and I have a 3-book contract to write with them. So Forbidden Gift, Forbidden Truth, and Forbidden Love.
Awesome. And so when you get ready to start on your next series, will you see if they're interested, or you think you'll try some other avenues, or are you hoping, I don't know, maybe I'm out of line asking.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
New, right?
I'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. I have another friend, Jack Castle, who is, an author, published author, and he's done both. And I know even with some of his older series, not older series, but previous books, everything old is new again. So if another publisher wants to pick it up and put it out again, it's a thing. So he's gone both routes, and he says there's pros and cons with both. So that's great to have options. Yeah. So all right, Cheryl says she's gonna buy it on the 27th. Good job, Cheryl. Woo! So are your books available on Kobo or just Kindle?
For now, just Kindle. I believe it's, I forget what they call it when you are exclusively Kindle, but I am. I think it's wide. I'm not sure. It's wide or not wide when you go exclusively Kindle. And I am exclusively Kindle right now. So not on Kobo. Sorry. Okay.
She may have had to go before she heard your answer. She says, I have to go. I'm sorry, but she'll watch the rest on replay. All right, Cheryl, whenever you come back and watch this, thanks for joining us. I'm so glad that you could come. So anyway, all right. So you made a joke, which it was in the first book. Some teenagers were making fun of the Amish, and Johanna was in the library and she overheard, and I think they knew she could overhear, but the joke they made I thought was hilarious. And I wondered if you came up with it on your own or if that's something you've actually heard.
I think it's a thing. I can go ahead and tell it if it's okay with you. Yeah. So she's in the library, and there's two young guys that are like kind of poking fun at her because she's Amish. And they're just kind of talking to each other, but they're really talking about her, and they're talking like loud enough for her to hear. And they're sort of blaming her for what's happened in their community because of what happened with the bishop. So they're kind of like, right, the Amish. But one thing they say, one of the ones says to the other, he says, yeah, and my dad's a yoder toter. So he knows everything about the Amish because he takes them places. So what he's referring to is the drivers that bring the Amish places, and that's the Amish paid them to take them to the Walmart or wherever you see the vans. So yeah, and the way I got that from is I had a coworker, and I was sending her a message, and I was telling her a little bit about my book because she was moving to northwestern Pennsylvania, and I told her, I did this, or I'm doing this, and we used to live there. And she said, yeah, my dad lives there, and he was a yoder toter. And I was like, a yoder toter? What is that? And so she explained it. And I was like, I am putting that in my book. And she's like, yeah, you can, you got it. Yeah.
That was so funny. Yeah, because yoder is such a common name among the Amish that that's such a stereotypical thing. And I know that, they were trying to be, they were trying to poke at her, but I thought it was, I just thought it was so funny.
My publisher, my editor didn't even blink an eye at that. And I was like,
oh my goodness. I loved it. I laughed out loud. I thought that was great. So good.
Do you want me to open the book? The package?
Oh yeah. Do you want to show the title? Yeah. I did. So this is in the thumbnail. I did put a picture of it in this thumbnail.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So this is the first time I'm opening it. I was going to do this on my channel last night, but I got too tired. There was too many things going on. So I thought I will open it today, and I'm going to open it for you all. And this is like, I like equate seeing your book for the first time and holding it. This is probably nothing in comparison, but it's kind of like when you first get to hold your baby.
Yeah.
You see your baby, you see what they really look like. You see what they feel like.
Oh, right. Here it is. So this is your first time seeing a physical copy of it?
This is my first time seeing it. Yay, here it is. The Forbidden Truth.
Awesome.
So, I'm even smelling it.
That new book smell.
Yeah. So I was super excited for this cover too. We did a photo shoot, like you said, on my Amish Book Reviews channel. I have a photo shoot for this photo shoot. We did another one recently for the upcoming Christmas one too. It was fun.
Oh, good.
But anyway, the lady who designs covers for Elk Lake Publishing, I love her. She's amazing. And I told her, I said, I really want something with New York City, but with Amish country. And so that's what we did. We had Johanna looking off into the distance, and here's New York City, and here's Amish country. And which does she choose? And so this book is a lot about learning about who she is. Because she is a girl kind of stuck between two worlds at this point. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had a question. Oh, so before we don't have to talk about this yet while we're talking about this, but I don't want to forget to, if you can tell us any more about the Christmas book, I would love to know more about that. Well, but so tell us now, is there anything you want to give us, any kind of teasers for Forbidden Love, which is book 3? Or is it too early at this point? Have you already started writing it?
I have, I've kind of been writing that one in my head, which I really need to start putting it down on paper, because every now and then I'm like, oh, that would be a good idea. But then I don't write it down. So I need to start writing them down. So we leave Forbidden Truth with the first chapter of Forbidden Love. So you haven't gotten that yet, but I don't want to spoil that for you either, but there is a cliffhanger there in the first chapter. Now, some people don't like cliffhangers at the end of books, so I tried to neatly tie that with the end of this book, but then I left a cliffhanger in chapter 1 that deals with Johanna. So
somebody mentioned that in their review. Yeah, I read the reviews that other people had written, and somebody mentioned that it ends with a cliffhanger, but then there's chapter 1 in there. So that sort of made it a little better if they didn't have to wait so long.
It's so funny how some people don't like cliffhangers. It's like kind of dangerous.
But you've got to do something you've got to do some kind of a hook to get people to come back. So
it's a serial. I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so Kev says, "Happy book baby birthday."
Thank you.
Hello, Jill. Thanks for joining us. She says she loves cliffhangers as long as you continue.
Yeah. So if you continue, it makes you want to buy the next book. Same with Netflix. I mean, they just do that with their series. You're reading, you watch the end of that episode, and you want the next one because what just happened? Did they die?
Right.
They went over the cliff. I don't know. So,
right. The only thing bad is that if something ends in a cliffhanger and then it gets canceled, like I am so bitter about the TV show Heroes. Have you guys ever seen that?
I haven't.
The end of season 4 was this horrible cliffhanger, and then they canceled it, and I don't think they've ever got. I'm like, couldn't you just do a one movie or something to so we can know what happened?
So we are hooked on Heartland right now. I'm sure. Are you a Heartland fan? I know you like horses. Oh, Lizzie, Elizabeth, you need to watch Heartland on Netflix. But there's like 14. I always say it wrong. 14 of them. So you can keep watching and watching and watching. That's what one you can keep going on.
Okay, yeah, and is that based on the book series for kids? The teenage book series?
It does say it's based on a book series, but I don't know if it's for kids. But it is.
I think it's like a YA
main premise. Horses, yeah, they're in Calgary, Canada, I think. So it's the scenery is amazing, beautiful.
Nice. Is it on Netflix?
Yes.
Is it on Netflix? Yeah. Okay, I'll have to check it out. My daughter has Netflix in her room. Yeah. I just never watch anything, hardly ever. I read books, but I may have to. We may have to wrap this up pretty soon. My daughter Emily, the one who has autism and epilepsy, she had a kind of a rough morning and just kind of slept all morning. And I just gave her a medicine right before coming on here, and so now she's like up and needing me. So I'm probably going to have to wrap it up pretty soon, but hang on, or she's going to be on camera. She's still in her nightgown. So like, wait, no. Give me a minute, okay? I'll be done in just a few minutes, okay, babe? All right. So her sister is here, but she was here until a few minutes ago, but she had gotten called into work. My youngest daughter is a vet tech, and so she got called into work. They're having, I think, someone that's been sick or is sick, and called out a couple of days in a row, so she's been going in to help out. Anyway, so enough about me. What else? Anybody else out there have any questions you want to ask Debra about the books or about writing? I did before we go. What can you tell us about the Christmas book? Can you tell us who the other author is, or is that a secret?
Yeah, no. I am working now very closely with Tracy Fredrickowski, and she is an Amish author of Amish fiction as well. It's interesting because we both write in the same area of Pennsylvania. We're both in northwestern Pennsylvania in the New Wilmington area. So that's kind of how we started connecting. And then it's interesting because she writes about a community called Willow Springs, and I write about a community called Willow Brook. So we decided to co-author our worlds. We join our worlds together. So now we are sharing our worlds. So she'll talk about Willow Brook and her community and in her books, and I talk about Willow Springs in mine. And we are co-authoring a book. It's coming out in December. It's an Amish Christmas at the Apple Blossom Inn. So it's sort of a 2 novellas in one book. They're 2 sisters, and I'm writing the perspective of Sadie in the book, Sadie Byler, and she's writing the perspective of Katie Byler. And then it'll be one book all to join together. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Tracy Fredrickowski. I can send you, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's been writing longer than I have, has more books than I have. But we've really just joined, have a strong friendship now and a connection as writing partners. It's just been incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, I got her in my Goodreads now, so I can go back and look
good. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So when will that book come out? Like around October?
Yeah, I think so. We'll be releasing it in the spring at least for pre-order, and then it'll be obviously a Christmas book. So out in December.
You said spring. Did you mean fall? Or?
Fall. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Spring, fall.
I'm not sure exactly. Tracy and I are going to be working on that part of it soon.
Okay, great. Well, great. Yeah. As soon as you tell me anything about it, then I'll be sure to do what I can to talk it up here too.
Yeah,
so
that'd be great. Yeah,
great. All right. So Jill says, "Yay, love Christmas stories. Tracy's wonderful." Also, awesome. So, Cav, have you read any books by Tracy in your 375 Amish books? I've got to have Cav on here to talk about all Amish books. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Know what she has read. So very good. So if you haven't, be sure you order Deborah's book. There, it's on physical copy. It's on paperback or ebook on Amazon. And also, if you want to join us starting today for the Amish in April Readathon, co-host is Sarah, the bookish knitter, and I have a couple of videos on my channel. There's a video with the announcement and also my TBR. I have not started my TBR books yet today because I am finishing up. I listened to one Amish book on audio. I listened to the first of the Amish matchmaking series by Amanda Flower early in the month to kind of kick off the month. And then I've been reading The Forbidden Truth. But I'm right now finishing an audiobook for book club that's not an Amish book. It's a World War II book called The Rose Code. And it's really good. It's by Kate Quinn. I wasn't sure I was going to like it because the book we read, The Huntress, last year, and it was so full of foul language and everything. But this book hardly had any foul language, which is great. And it's very interesting about women who were code breakers in World War II. So if that sounds interesting to you, it is quite interesting. So that's what I'm finishing up today. And then I got to get busy with listening. I'm going to mostly be listening to some audiobooks and reading a couple of others in print. But first and foremost, I have to finish The Forbidden Truth because I have to find out what is going on with Kelly and that phone conversation. So anyway, so I don't see any more questions. Deborah, what else would you like to tell us? Anything I forgot to ask about? Give us all of your links. Tell us about your Facebook group. Anything you want to tell us.
Yeah. So I'm at debratorres.com. So you can go there. I'm starting to put my put transcripts of my Amish book reviews over there on debratorres.com. I started a blog, so you can go over there and read some of those as well. And I started that Facebook group this summer or in January, and it's Amish Book Friends of Debra Torres, author. So I'll give you that link to Lizzie. I love having people who love Amish fiction in there, and there's actually I'm attracting these Amish fiction writers who have been writing a lot longer than I have are in there now. Amy Clipston's in there. I had Samantha Price join me the other day. And so they're in my group. So now I can tag them and people are all excited. And so it's really good. And I do Facebook Lives too. I have a woman in there whose husband's family was Amish, and she has studied a lot about the Amish subculture. And actually, she is a great one to use as a resource for a book. I actually put her in my acknowledgments. I used her for my book because she knows so much. She has been on, I call it Amish Answers, and we do a Facebook Live, and my group members can ask questions, and then she answers them. And it's very enlightening about the Amish and learning from her. So we're going to be doing some more of those as well, and I may have some Q&As with authors as well over there. So it's very active, a great place to be.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And if you continue to make new friends who are also authors, you guys could start doing collabs and things. You could even have Zoom events that we could all watch, and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just thinking kinds of things.
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Great idea.
The sky is the limit. So any of you out there watching, tell us what you're reading this week. I see Donna said that she started the first Cappy King book by Amy Lillard. I just showed that in a haul earlier. Well, maybe it was my announcement video because I had bought that, and it looks so cute. It's a cozy mystery. So coming up for me, I am going to be putting together the footage from my trip, and I did do some footage of some of the Amish businesses that I went to, just like the outsides. I didn't, I was sensitive to the fact that I didn't want to film anybody who was Amish or get them on camera or anything like that. But I did do a little bit of footage from Amish country, so I'll just incorporate that into my trip vlog, which I've got to get done this week. And so I would love to see someone write an Amish book about the Oklahoma Amish.
Yeah.
Not only are there some in Shoto, I know when I was growing up, we had a group around Wapanucka, because we used to go through there when I would go from my hometown of Bennington up to Stillwater, where I went to college. I would drive through a little area, and there was always a sign that had the horse and buggy, you know, to be careful as you're driving. And every once in a while I would get behind one, and I don't know if that community is still there or not, but there are apparently there's a growing community of Amish in Oklahoma. So I don't know if anyone has written about that or not. So
yeah. Yeah, it is amazing when you read books, Amish books of them in kind of odd areas. I remember reading a book, Dale Kramer wrote a book about the Amish in Mexico. They were trying to start a community there. I don't think it lasted very long. In fact, I did look and see that there was actually a group of Amish that tried to start a district down there. And so that's what he wrote about, fictionalized it as well. But it was really interesting. Yeah. And then a friend of mine, Amy, I forget her last name, Growski, I think. I forget. But she writes about Prince Edward Island and the Amish on Prince Edward Island.
Sarah got that book, I think, and she's excited to read it this year. So, because she was talking about that, because she's Canadian, and she was excited to have a book about Amish in Canada. So that's exciting. Yeah, I would like to get my hands on that as well. So that would be
very
great.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, people have had to go. I see we've only got 3 viewers left. So thank you for stuck with us all the way out. Now we're back up to 5, but thank you for watching. Debra, thank you for joining me, and all of you out there, stay tuned to my channel for more Amish content and book reviews and things during Amish in April, and then check out Debra's channel for more Amish book reviews and more content for Amish fiction. So before we go real quick, Donna says the Mennonite retirement community here in this area of Phoenix. We have a Mennonite retirement community here in this area of Phoenix. I'm going to miss the store and seeing the Amish Mennonite elders. I see them walking to the store all the time. So why are you going to miss them? Are you moving, Donna? Are you not going to be living there anymore? I don't know. You'll have to tell me later in case we have to off before you have to sign off. Donna is one of my biggest channel supporters. She's always there for me to watch and to comment, so I appreciate her so much. And we've done some buddy reads and everything, so, or at least one buddy read. All right, thank you everybody for being here, and come back next week and see if I can get in touch with Kev. We are gonna I would love to have her on here. Otherwise, the sky is open for anyone who would like to come on here and chat with me about what you're reading this week or about Amish literature. And I'm looking forward to whatever God brings my way for the next 2 weeks. And also on Saturday, Sarah will be hosting live reading sprints on her channel. I think this first Saturday is going to be around noonish, and then the last Saturday will be in the evening, and that will be kind of our wrap up for Amish in April. So thanks, Debra. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Debra, don't go away. I got to ask you a question, but we're going to say bye to everybody out there, and I appreciate it. And Debra, if I lose you accidentally, I'll email you. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Sounds everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
I'm trying to do it with my computer, and it's on my phone.